Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Hogarth's Global Astrology. Know your planets, know yourself, or know your nation, know yourself. The two are interchangeable. All right, this is a little bit of a Monday surprise. Yeah, I wasn't expecting to kind of do a little live today. Let me just move my laptop a little bit closer. But such is the political news, particularly going on in the UK. I just had to get stuck in. So a few of you have actually popped in live, but you're saying that obviously it was a surprise, so you'll probably be watching this on catch up. Totally fine. I'm amazed that anyone's here. I've literally only just popped it up, so I'll just do a quick click up here. So Christella's saying hello, good evening. Shari Voices from the Swamp saying, hello, Hoagie, can't stay, but I'll catch the replay. Just had to pop in to say howdy to my favorite English gentleman. Time for another collab, darling. Ah, of course, indeed. I agree. Oh, before I forget, I am doing a collaboration on Wednesday with Tea with Tanya. Tea with Tanya, remember her? I mean, it's been a while since I've done a collab with her. I think it must be at least a year. So I'm looking forward to having her on my show, catching up, seeing how she's been doing, etc. So that's coming up. And if you're new to the channel or you've been watching me for a while or something like that, please don't forget to like and subscribe and click the bell notification. For those that are still interested, there's still one or two places left on the retreat. Santa Fe. Some of you are emailing me, letting me know that you're interested in popping along. So go for it. That is linked in the video description below. Of course, just scroll down and you'll see where it says Santa Fe. Click on that link and you can join there. Many of you as well are really enjoying the book. Thank you so much, everyone. And if you are interested in that, of course, then you can hit the link there. In fact, I should put it here, shouldn't I? Oh, yeah. What is it? Where is the other? There we go. Oh, gosh, now I've messed up my lights. Typical, isn't it? I've always got to remember to have these things here ready to the side. Here's the hardback. And here is the paperback as well. With the paperbacks now, I think I'm going to have a gloss front cover. So they're there. Thank you so much as well to everyone who's left a review. Wonderful reviews and stuff like that. And I'm glad people are getting so much out of it. Let me know in the comments what your favorite section of the book is, because many of you have gone for it. Let me know in the comments what your favorite sections are. Right, let's begin with the show. So why have I come on impromptu like this to surprise you all with a little video? Well, as you know this. I know I'm preaching to the choir here, and I've been saying this ad nauseum. But for those of you that may be new to my channel and stuff like that, what is it that I've been banging on about for years? So repeat after me. Yeah, what have I been saying? I've been saying that Pluto is in sidereal Capricorn. Yes, sidereal Capricorn. Why is this important? Pluto is the planet of what? Death, rebirth, destruction. The planet of crisis. Yeah, Pluto is the planet of crisis, god of the underworld. That's why I'm saying politically we're in the composting phase right now, where all the creepy crawlies are starting to come out and they're all starting to chew through and bring stuff up. Yeah, the worms, the maggots, the beetles, the termites, the everything. Everyone's chewing away and gnawing and nibbling on things, and things are being broken down and new things are emerging, and some things are being regurgitated, yeah, and re-examined. So why is this happening? Pluto entered sidereal Capricorn on or around January 1st, 2021. Yeah. Now, what you got, remember, in Western tropical astrology, as you know, they are 24 degrees ahead. Why? Because Western astrology doesn't take into account the precession of the equinoxes. The precession of the equinoxes is the slow backward movement of the stars. So imagine with my projection here, they're slowly moving backwards. Yeah. Imagine that's the cosmos. by 1 degree every 72 years. That means over huge swathes of time, the zodiac moves back quite far. It has moved backwards by almost one whole sign, but the overlap is about 6 degrees. Yeah, so we divide the sky. Imagine the sky here divided up into 12, sections, 12 signs of the zodiac. They're slowly moving backwards. So if your sun sign is Aries, you're probably more likely a Pisces. If you're a Pisces sun sign, you're probably more likely an Aquarius. If you're an Aquarius, you're more likely a Capricorn sun sign, etc. For those of you who watch me regularly, you know this already, but of course there are many people that aren't familiar. It's all in the book, of course, all explained. Precession, how it works, where your moon sign is, what it says about your mother, what your sun sign is, what it says about your father, and you and your personality, and all of the other things, because planets are people. Yeah. So taking this back, Pluto is in sidereal Capricorn. What is Capricorn all about? Capricorn is all about government. Yes. Never forget that. Capricorn in particular is the sign of government or governments, plural. Yeah. It deals with top-down structures, power structures, even infrastructure. It deals with old institutions that have been around for a long time. Yeah, old institutions that have been around for a long time, old thought patterns. It's naturally conservative. Yeah, remember Capricorn and Aquarius are ruled by planet Saturn, but Capricorn is the more conservative sign of Saturn. Yeah. Aquarius is a bit more of the radical one, yeah, more about the ordinary people. So what do you think happens when you have Pluto, the planet of crisis, death and rebirth, transformation, god of the underworld, alchemy, but also as well, which shows the darkest shadow as well of humanity, can also talk about trafficking, corruption, fascism, the darker impulses. What do you think happens when Pluto goes into the sign of government? We're going to see what? Big changes in government all around the world. Of course, you guys have been watching me for a long time. You know, I've been saying this for years. And I can understand people's skepticism at first, particularly when I was new on the block. Yeah, no one knew who I was and who's this guy, blah, 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 talking about his Neo-Vedic astrology and stuff like that. But look how accurate it has proved. And I said 2024 is going to be a very unusual year. Expect the unexpected. It's not going to be standard politics this year. I mean, it's pretty obvious, isn't it? But I've been saying this for a long time, but it's coming true. Look at the political landscape now. My goodness, yeah. Who would have thought that politics would be in the shape that it is in now? So what is the main reason why I'm on today? Obviously, I'm going to touch a little on US politics, but as you will know, we have an election here as well in the UK, and it is scheduled for the 4th of July, American Independence Day. Clearly, someone in Tory headquarters thought they were being funny, yeah? I mean, what a bunch of muppets, yeah? Just like Rishi Sunak launching his campaign by going to Belfast, where near the dockyards where they launched the Titanic. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. Anyway, now remember what's going on with the sky. Several different things. Remember too that Uranus has just moved. Uranus was in sidereal Aries. And on the 1st of June, 2024, Uranus, the planet of sudden shocks and surprises, mavericks. And do you remember I've been talking about political earthquakes? I said we can have literal earthquakes, but political earthquakes as well. I'm sure you guys will remember. Well, guess what? When planets change signs, remember they're very declamatory. I always say the planets are very declamatory. When they enter a sign or just about to enter a sign, it's like they clang a big bong. Yeah. So Uranus moved into sidereal Aries, sidereal Taurus on the 1st of June, 2024. Today is the 3rd of June. And the time now is 11:24 in the evening here in the UK. So 3rd of June, 2024. Uranus moved in on the 1st of June. And already we have a massive revelation here in the UK. Because guess what? Today, a special poll was launched. And look, I don't want to mean it too much as a side dig, but let's just put it this way. The polls in the UK are actually a lot more accurate. Yeah. I don't want to get into the weeds in it, but as we know, US polls. Yeah. Over here, if you get the polls wrong in the UK, you get sacked. Yeah. You lose your job and your reputation and you're out. Yeah. Because these things are important. So there's this poll. What is it called again? Oh God, let's see if an MRP poll. And what is, they've got a very special way of collating the where people may potentially vote, and this is based on 60,000 voters. Yeah, 60,000. All up and down, all of the whole country, from Scotland all the way down to, you know, Cornwall and all of that kind of stuff. And they've basically announced their results. Now, this is a snapshot, as they say. A lot can change. We've still got a month to go. But this snapshot, now, what you got to remember with this poll, this MRP poll, they pioneered this technique and they've been basically very, very accurate. They were able to accurately predict that Theresa May would get a hung parliament. They predicted Boris coming in, all the various different things. They're very good. The news that has come out today, which was launched at 5 p.m. today, is absolutely devastating. I mean, devastating for the Tories. Now remember, Capricorn is what? Old things. Remember I said old institutions, things that have been around for a long time. Well, guess what? The Tory party is almost 200 years old. It's one of the oldest and known as one of the most successful political parties ever. So it fits that Capricorn energy. Capricorn is also conservative as a sign. But Pluto is going through, which means what? Something old is ripe for reform and change. And isn't it funny that I use the word reform and change? Because guess what? Someone called Nigel Farage, who you guys may know. Oh my God! Right, he's a real political character. Let's put it that way. I don't agree with everything Nigel Farage stands for. However, one thing that he is exceptionally good at is really knowing how to put the cat amongst the pigeons. He would be considered right of center, maybe a bit further along. I think opinion would vary on that, but definitely right of center, very much so. And he has a gift. He's a gifted aura, and he has a gift for really being able to stir things up. Now, the Tories knew it was probably going to be bad for them this election. Yeah. But Nigel Farage has just announced that he is actually going to run as a candidate. Yeah, he's going to be in a constituency called Clacton-on-Sea, which is out in Essex. And he's probably going to win it. Now, this poll, the result, like how they predicted things would be, this poll, the news of that launched only soon after Farage has said whatever. So this was based on the previous month's surveying. So they've not even been able to factor him in yet. With things, if the election were to happen tomorrow, Labour's majority would be 194. It means they would end up having a total of 422 seats, if I remember correctly off the top of my head, which would be the biggest majority that has ever existed in British politics, ever. And do you remember as well how I said, you know, with Rishi Sunak, I said, he's going for an election now. Yeah. What a fool. What a fool. We all know it's been an absolute circus and stuff like this for years. And what I'm going to say is this, as you know my thoughts already, particularly when it comes to British politicians. And I'm going to say this, I hope the Tories get utterly eviscerated. Eviscerated. They used to say once upon a time, back in the days of Tyburn, you know, when they used to go in the town square and, you know, hang people and stuff like that. And if there was someone you really didn't like, you would say to them, I will swing on your heels. Yeah. So let's see what happens. Not that I'm overly that enthusiastic about Labour. Not many people are, but it's not the point. As things stand right now, they will have an absolutely beyond landslide. We're talking political earthquake proportions. They're saying if Labour were to win now, Sir Keir Starmer's majority would be bigger than Tony Blair's when he came in 1997 and bigger than Margaret Thatcher's in 1983. So Uranus, yeah, in sidereal Taurus. You remember I said earthquakes, but particularly political earthquakes. This is astonishing. And this was before the polls obviously knew that Farage was going to stand as an MP. So that was before even those things were factored in. Also, as well, from what I understand, Jeremy Corbyn is going to be standing as an independent as well. So whole of that factor is going to make a huge thing. I think this is it for the Tories. They knew that before these polls came out, they knew that they were in trouble. Once they were announced, they knew they were even in worse trouble. And then for Farage to come out and announce, because he's going to take votes away from the Tories, yeah, that's how it's going to be. So we could be seeing the obliteration of an old institution, Pluto in Capricorn. Something must die in order for something else to be reborn. Death and rebirth. This is the energy of Capricorn. Look to as well another very old institution. If you think of the British royal family, yeah, one of the oldest of the old. I think the only one that's continuously older, apparently, I think it might be the Japanese royal family, but the UK royal family is at least 1,000 years old, minimum. Yeah, it's actually much older than that, but we can all agree on 1,000 years. Yeah, it's 1,000 years old. Look what's been happening with them. Yeah, remember I was talking as well the themes. I said deep fake would become a big theme. Once Neptune moved into sidereal Pisces, which it did on the 22nd of February 2023, look all the stories around Kate. The royal family is an institution. In the UK, they are also part of the government. Yeah, do you see how it's all stirring up? If we look at America, America is what, 250 years old now, almost. Pluto's cycle is 248 years to go around the sun. The Pluto return in America has just begun. Pluto returned to its exact degree around about 1st or 2nd of February this year. So do you see how it's all bubbling, how it's all coming up with these seismic shifts that are happening? But basically, we'll have to see what happens on election day. But we are looking at pretty much at the end of the tour. I'd be astonished after this poll. I'd be astonished. They would do well to come third at this stage. They're expecting them. They're projecting to have the Tories to have 140 seats. Yeah, after being in government. Yeah, after they said if the election happened tomorrow, but that was before Farage announced. Yeah, this is based on last month's data. So imagine now them running, though that 140 could fall under 100 quite easily. Many of the Tories in the top cabinet who are in the cabinet are going to lose their jobs. They've already, because you know, in the UK we're hardcore. You know, we're hardcore in the UK. I'm not saying our media is perfect. There's a lot of BS. There's a lot of BS around the whole media, actually, particularly with legacy media and stuff like that. But what they did was on Sky News, they literally just put the faces up of the Tory ministers that were probably going to lose their seat. And they're like, yes, the Chancellor, he's probably going to go. This one's probably going to go. That one, that one. They had about 16 faces up there, all going to get the one that I'm most pleased about is apparently Jacob Rees-Mogg is this useless man is probably going to be out, and he's a dinosaur. He should have vanished along with the dodo. But we will have to see. Either way, this is going to be for the Tories. It's beyond bloodbath. It's hammer horror, because it was already bad with what already kind of with the stats that come out now. This is before Farage. So I just wanted to kind of come on and talk about that. Seismic shifts, everyone. Seismic shifts. Remember, 49% of the world's population, this is the whole world, is going to the polls this year. Pluto in Capricorn. Capricorn is the sign of government. Do you see how it's unfolding? Now it's becoming increasingly clear, isn't it? When I was new on the scene, Vedic astrology, blah, blah, blah. Not that people were, some people were rude, but, obviously I'm grateful for how well the channel's done and stuff like that. But people were very skeptical at the start because, of course, it's new, isn't it? Not everyone knows about Neo-Vedic astrology. This is why I wrote the book about it. But look how accurate it is proving. We're going to see big changes by the end of the year, guys. There's going to be some really big surprises in politics globally. Really big surprises. I think some countries are going to move, inevitably, of course, much further to the right. But then you might see radical left getting a go as well. We might see more green parties kind of coming up and doing well. The Liberal Democrats, for example, in the UK. Do you remember we did the reading last week? And I was saying, you know what? The Liberal Democrats are probably going to do a lot better than people expect. They're going to get like 44 seats or something. I think they're probably going to get more, to be honest. So anyway, I just wanted to introduce that little bit there. Let's probably do a little kind of read, even though I'm not that excited about Starmer. But at the end of the day, the Tories have really got to go. And I'm really not pleased what he did with Diane Abbott and Fazia Shaheen. And also as well, the MP for Brighton and Hove as well was just booted out and someone helicoptered in. I'm not saying he's perfect. He isn't. But it's going to be very interesting because our politics now in the UK is just going to get a lot more colourful. And when you've got a stonking majority like that, which is forecast, either way, it's going to be massive. It makes the government very powerful. So the opposition has to be strong. The Tories, they're just, I mean, basically, look, if you are a Tory MP and you on the random are watching this, work on your CV, yeah, because you're going to be out of a job. Most of you are going to be out of a job. Maybe one or two good ones, if there are any, may be able to hold on. But it's really going to be something astonishing. So I wanted to kind of talk about that. Let's see who's here in the chat, and then we'll cover some other kind of global topics. Let's just see here. 461 I hear of you. Thank you so much. Patrick Duncan says, hi, Hoagie. I'll be listening from the other room, preparing dinner. Yes, I've had my lunch. Thank you so much for joining me, Patrick. Angela's here. Thank you so much. Shari has come back. Shari's saying hello. Have you been able to remonetize, Shari? Are they still kind of blocking your channel? Let me know. Chris Cassidy says, yay, bonus Hoagie. Thank you. And then, hi, Hogarth Jan King. Tribal Woman is here. Hello, hello, hello. Someone's saying great Monday surprise. Yes. Fatima says blessings. Thank you. Oh God, there's many of you here actually. Some people saying what a wonderful surprise. You know me, every once in a while I have to throw one in. And let's see who else is here. Oh, Nancy Cornett says, I got my book. Wonderful. Oh, thank you. I hope you're enjoying it. Let me know in the comments your favorite bit. For me, I know me talking about my own book, but honestly, my favorite part is the moon. Yeah, because the moon represents the mother. And what I do is I talk about what you can potentially be like with your moon in the various signs, but I also do it for the mother, what your mother could be like, and her cooking style as well, potentially. And some people would be like, well, it's not only the mothers that cook. No, of course not. Sometimes the dads cook and, you know, whatever. But I'm just talking in terms of what tends to happen more in the collective in humanity. Something we can all recognize. At some point, our mother and our father has cooked for us if the dad was around, but particularly the mother. So I look at the cooking style as well and everything. That for me is one of my favorite sections on the book. Oh, look, someone else is saying it. Oh, Shari's saying, love, love, love your book. Oh, thank you. I'm so glad. I'm so glad you're enjoying it. Thank you, Shari. And who else is here? Good evening. Love in the house from Trinidad and Tobago. Wow, we're expecting 1 out of 67. Oh, we're expecting 1 out of 67 storms passing we tonight. Oh, my goodness. Gosh, batten down the hatches. I hope you're going to be okay. Let's just see. I'll read one more out and then I'll have a bit more of a rant on something else. So Mitt says, woohoo, I was just scrolling on my phone and your live popped up. It's morning here, so I'm going to hang around for the show. I adored your book the other day. Oh, thank you. So if anyone's interested, if you've not got it yet, get stuck in. The link is in the description below. Kindle, hardback, softback, the whole shebang. It's all there. Right, let's see. Let's talk a bit about India. Yeah, now India is important to talk about. Why? Because it's the biggest, technically it's the biggest democracy on planet Earth. Yeah, 1.4 billion people now. They now have a slightly larger population than China. And of course, they're going to outgrow China because of the one-child policy in China, unfortunately. They had to kind of reverse it basically back in the 90s, but China's population is probably never going to recover. So India really in many ways is the future, but they are having these massive heat bombs right now. I mean, like massive. So just to give you an idea, so India has a huge heat wave. Some places are hitting 50 degrees. Not 40 is already horror show for me. I'm a 25 degrees boy, yeah, but 40, just to give you a guys, what is that in Fahrenheit, over 100 and something like that. 50, you can imagine, it's just off the charts. I think they said it's over 120 Fahrenheit, something ridiculous. So they've been having these massive heat waves. No running water for many people. They've been showing footage of these trucks coming with this water for the people, but they said the water's not clean. One woman said there was a dead rat floating in the water, and sometimes the water stinks and stuff like that, and the people, they can't even afford to buy water. So they're saying they're having to choose between working out in the heat or getting water. I mean, the inequalities in the world. And again, this kind of stuff, Pluto in Capricorn, there's going to be changes as well. Like politically, there's going to be, I mean, look, you know, Modi is projected to win. I mean, of course, he's pretty much got it like sewn up, but you never know. There could be 1 or 2 surprises. But there's going to be changes because people are starting to realize the systems, the old way of doing things is not working. So, yeah, so there's been power outages. I learned as well on the news that 80% of Indians do not, I repeat, do not have air conditioning. My goodness. And 33 elections officials in India dropped dead. They were out campaigning and the heat was so much, 33 of them dropped dead on the same day. Again, government, Pluto, earthquakes, you know, political earthquakes with Uranus in sidereal Taurus. Right, let's have a little look-see. Let's have a little look at American politics, huh? Let's have a little look-see and see what is. I'm going to throw some cards for the GOP because I just think, I mean, what nutbaggery, eh? What nutbaggery. Now, I've just remembered something. Someone told me in the comments that they were using their pendulum, yeah, and they were doing a little read to see what's going to happen with the GOP, and they were looking through all these different names, who they're going to pick as the nominee, and they said their pendulum said Liz Cheney. How interesting. So you know, maybe I'll do a read on her. I mean, this was something someone said in the comments. We've not really been talking about her. Obviously, she's obviously made her contribution to history so far, but I think worthwhile having a look. But I'm just going to just tune in with the GOP. Obviously, we did Duck Larange on Saturday last night, so he's still quite fresh in the mind. He's not the surprise, you know, in all of this. We know what Duck Larange is. The surprise, really, I think the travesty for America is the GOP. They're supposed to be the party of law and order. Really, the party of law and order, and you've got a convicted felon who's about to be ratified on the ballot. Anyway, let's see what's going on with the GOP and what on earth they're going to do with themselves. We did a little read and they were looking discombobulated, weren't they? But let's just pull again and see what's going on with these crazy people. Oh, let's have a look. GOP, what state are they in? As you know, I select with my eyes closed. So let's just see. What's this? GOP. With the orange felon, crispy Duck Larange. What are they going to do? Huh? What are they going to do with the orange felon? Well. Oh, it's crystal clear. Crystal clear. Yeah. Oh, 500 of you. My God. Maybe I should do Mondays more often. Thank you so much for joining me. Much appreciated. And don't forget, of course, to like and subscribe and share and all of that goodness. And thank you so much as well to everyone for all of your support and encouragement over the years. I know I don't always, you know, like I was thinking the other day, you know, my channel is definitely more kind of vinegar and vegetables, isn't it? But remember, vinegar and vegetables are good for you. Yeah. With a little drizzle of honey and balsamic here and there, you know, I'm sure you would agree. But vinegar and, you know, vegetables, they're very good for you. You know, too much sugar rots the teeth. Remember that? Gives you blood sugar issues. Anyway, GOP. Let me just cover the boobies here. So the world has turned up. You know, as you know, I need to cover the nipplage, but for the algorithm. Here we are, the world card. What does this mean? The world card is what? Beginnings and endings, endings and beginnings. It is the last card in the deck, so it is synonymous with completing a cycle. So what does this mean? Is this the end for the grand old party? Remember I said Pluto in Capricorn affecting things that are old. Yeah. I mean, the Democrats are pretty old as well, but I think, you know, the grand old party, well, GOP stands for the grand old party. They're even older. Look what's going on with them. I think we could describe that as a kind of breakdown, composting, weird kind of cray-cray. So this looks like the completion or the completing of a cycle. Something is coming to an end or something is bringing them to an end. I think it's pretty obvious, you know, what that is. Now, it remains to be seen. We have to see what happens with Duck Larange. Remember I said in September, that's when he goes into his Jupiter-Venus, yeah? His Venus sits in the 12th house, which deals with prisons, hospitals, yeah, and exile and stuff like that. Being secluded or sequestered. As you guys know, I said, and many others have actually said, we've never seen Trump officially under lock and key. What I would also say as well, if they do put him in prison, which he richly deserves, yeah. However, it would also give him the martyrdom thing, and he's basically going to go into prison playing the song, you know, "Free Nelson Mandela." You know, that's what he's going to. He's that outrageous, yeah. He's going to declare himself a political prisoner, quite literally. And you know what will happen because he's clickbait? The world's media are going to sit down, make camps underneath his window, and he's going to call and lament from the bars of his window and go, it was rigged, it was all fixed, I'm a prisoner, and, you know, blah blah blah. Yeah, so that could give him an even bigger platform. If I were the judge, this is the punishment that I would suggest. And you may or may not agree with me, but I think what would be the most effective would be to have Duck Larange do community service. Have him put on the orange jump suit, have him picking up the trash, weeding the allotments, and picking up the dog poop. Yeah, for me, that would actually do, because it's the ego, and you got to understand it's the platform. And I've said this before, but I'm going to keep repeating it as well. Old institutions, old things that have been around. If we think about the legacy media as well, the legacy media have a lot to answer for constantly keeping Duck Larange in the news. Yeah, we know it. It's become an ecosystem now, because they know if they put him on, you know, and because he says outrageous things and he's clickbait and stuff like that, they make more money. But haven't you noticed, I'm sure you guys would agree, since he left Twitter, you know, or X, formerly known as Twitter, and he started up his Truth Social, they now report everything that he says. Have you noticed this? Every single utterance that comes out of his mouth, he gets more airplay than Biden, and Biden is the president. Do you know what I mean? And for me, when I'm thinking about this Pluto in Capricorn, how the old ways of doing things have to change, will be destroyed and reborn, that is something that needs to be looked at, because they've given him so much PR, free PR. He's not even had to campaign, really, has he? Think about it. All he has to do is just stand outside of the court, gesticulate and vent his spleen, and it will get him coverage across the whole country. So why campaign? Do you mean he turns the court case into the campaign room? But a lot of that is being facilitated. Obviously, it's important. This is a very historic election. I'm not trying to minimize that, and I'm not trying to besmirch anyone that is interested in the story, because it is very important. What I'm critiquing is just my observation of how the media of all stripes have delighted in the circus and always blown some air on the embers so that he can become a flame again. Yeah, you know, actually I've gone on a bit of a tangent there, isn't it? I was supposed to finish the reading on the GOP, forgive me. Anyway, world card, cycles coming to an end. Look what's in the obstacle position. The money. Oh dear. Funding might be becoming a little bit more difficult, but this is also as well, it shows you what they're all about. When it's the right way up, as this card is presenting here, but it's actually in the obstacle position, so we can consider it reversed. When it's the right way up, this can talk about, you know, wealth, prosperity, you know, a big windfall, etc. But when it's reversed, this can also refer to fool's gold. Yeah. I think this is the fool's gold of what? Constantly backing Duck Larange, which is going to bring something to an end. Yeah. I mean, could it be that the party just splits? If we look here, we've got the Ace of Cups. So the Ace of Cups normally talks about joy, wish fulfillment, you know, emotions overflowing. It's normally a very positive card, but we also need to understand, you know, what the context here. We're talking about the GOP. This is talking about intense emotions around the whole election as well. People are going to be voting, not necessarily maybe with their heads, maybe more with their hearts. But this is also as well, because this is the GOP, this is also showing you what an emotional froth they are in. This is very difficult for them now, because they're supposed to be the party of law and order, but a convicted felon is about to become the nominee. Queen here, Queen of Pentacles. And as you know, I associate this particularly with political readings with the voter, the people at home. This is also the women at home, quite literally. The voter is watching, trying to make up their mind. Yeah, the Pentacles are also about values. This Pluto return as well is also asking America, what are your values? What are the values? What are the values of the GOP, which we've seen already? And then, of course, you got values of the Democrats, etc. But it's bringing it all to a head. Yeah. But look here. Wow, 600 of you now. If we look here, you see, 7 of Swords trying to get away with something. So, of course, it's the same old, same old. What we are witnessing is one of the most extreme cases of political pathology that I think has ever been seen in the history of politics. Never before has one person so entirely captured the psyche and consciousness and the soul of a political party and made them jump off a cliff. Now they're doubling down. I mean, how many more opportunities do they need, yeah, to correct their ways? But now, I mean, really, you actually going to nominate a convicted felon now as the leader? Really? They can't be taken serious. If they speak any word of law and order, it's just ridiculous. They have a convicted felon. You know, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. But what this is saying to me is that I think what's going to happen is, this is what I think is going to happen. Because the first card out is the World card, symbolizing the whole reading. I think this is the end of the GOP being a single party. I'm not saying it's necessarily going to happen this year, but it might happen soon. I think they're going to split. I think it's going to split because they've got too many cray-crays running the show. And, you know, there's always a place for conservatism and, you know, at the table or whatever. Not everyone wants to jump off, you know, the bloody cliff. Do you know what I mean? But it's become rabid and just a complete, it's total Looney Tunes, isn't it? It's total Looney Tunes. So when I look at that, that says to me, I think, yes, it's the ending of a great cycle. And you never know. Maybe, you know, could this be a Liz Cheney even? Could this be a Liz Cheney? You know, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. But that was something that someone said in the comments. But it's not over yet, folks. You know, we've got plenty of twists and surprises to come. All right, let's see here. Let's just scroll through. Anything that you guys want me to read on in particular? Let's have a look. Someone else is saying, happy surprise. Thank you, Ronnie. At Hogarth's Global Astrology, when you run sidereal charts, which house system do I use? I use the whole house system, yeah, which is kind of what is used in traditional Vedic astrology. So what is, we divide up the houses into equal degrees of 30-degree portions of sky all equally, and it works beautifully. So I recommend the whole house system. Wow, 635, my goodness. That's really a surprise. Hello all, thank you. And Urana, let's see here. Can you believe all the Fleet Street editors that have taken key roles as WSJ, Daily Beast, Washington Beast, it's the UK media taken over by US media? Disturbing. Oh yeah. All of this is going to start to change because have you noticed there's been a lot of monospeak? A lot of the same stories or the same narratives. Cast your mind back to not too long ago, yeah? When we were under lockdown and stuff. Think of how unified that global narrative was. Deeply suspicious, yeah? That doesn't... Whole world saying the same thing at the same time? Not so sure about that. But anyway, yeah, I'm waiting for the Great Awakening, which, like I said, is going to happen around about 30th of March, there or thereabouts, when Saturn moves into sidereal Pisces. And then I'm going to really be able to talk about some stuff. Really going to be able to talk about some stuff. But for now, I have to... yeah. Anyway, thank you. Yes, Dorothy. What else is here? Anyone got any questions here for me? What's this here? Oh. Granny B is saying, hi, Agatha, I have a question. If someone's born 2 months premature, does that have an effect on their astrological chart? No and yes, yes and no. It's basically the first breath, yeah? The first breath. So when you leave the womb and you take your first breath, that's your birthday. Whether you're premature or not, it's when you take the first breath, that is when it's counted from. So one could argue, well, one was expecting to be born later, but whenever you're born is whenever you're born. You take that first breath, that's your birthday. Let's see here. Someone's saying he stands for fart beans. Is there big changes indeed? Yes, Mexico just elected first woman president, and she's left leaning. Yes, I actually put that in my notes. Thank you for reminding me. Yes, so yeah, Mexico gets its first female president. That's what I put in my notes. And getting a first female president before the USA, and she's called Claudia. Oh, what have I written here? Sheinbaum. Forgive me if I butchered that, but yes. In fact, let's do a quick poll on Mexico. Let's do a quick poll on Mexico and see how they're doing, how she's gonna fare, and then I'll probably let's do a Duck Orange to see if he's gonna flee the country. If I were his lawyers, that's what I'd be telling him. But what is, he's obviously needs to have the sentencing, and then he's obviously going to appeal because he's hoping that his friend Alito and all the other ones, you know, in SCOTUS for entertainment purposes only are going to help him out. Anyway, right, let's read on the new female Mexican president. Congratulations, Mexico. Well done. Many things there, though, with women's issues, etc. You know, killings, and not just that, the cartels and stuff. Mexico is a beautiful country. I have been able to visit, but it does have its issues. Let's not be naive about that. But let's see how she's going to do. All right. How is Claudia going to do? How is Claudia going to do? How's Claudia going to do? How is Claudia going to do? How is Claudia going to do? And then we'll take one little spin with Duck Orange. Now this is very interesting for Claudia. Here we are. I get the I have to cover the little bits again. We get the lovers, yeah. So it's all about what? Making big choices that have a huge consequence for one's fate, destiny, future, etc. But this can also as well, remember, I also associate this as the card of international trade and stuff like that. So she's probably going to do quite a few things for the economy as well, trading partners, etc., stuff like that. But either way, she's making big decisions. If we look in the obstacle position here, we have the Queen of Cups. This could also represent her potentially. It would make sense. She's the first female president. And if we look here, let's not forget, in here is some secrets. Yeah, what this says to me is that she might have a few tricks up her sleeve. Yeah, it's going to take a little while for the electorate to get to know her, to see how she's going to be as a leader, because this, of course, is all fresh and new. So this says to me she's got a few tricks up her sleeve, but she's also intuitive, and she has probably got quite a strong intuition and is very creative. Yeah, so that's probably a good thing, particularly there with the lovers as well. So she might do some interesting stuff with goods and trade. If we look here in the middle, she gets a very positive card. We have here Temperance. So it looks like she's going to try and balance things out. She understands that, of course, the cartels are extremely powerful in Mexico. I was watching one thing on the news, and they said that the cartels were still able to keep going throughout all of lockdown. Yeah, throughout all of lockdown. Yeah, whole world ground to a halt. The cartels were just like carried on. Yeah, it shows you the sheer level of the logistics and and stuff like that. Not that I'm wanting to pay them too much compliments, but these are just the facts. Yeah, so she's going to try and rebalance this. She has to rebalance power in the country, to help women, of course, and which I'm sure she will, because there are many egregious things that are happening to women in Mexico, particular deaths, strangulation, all of this stuff. Of course, you know, these things are happening all over the world, but this is a particular problem in Mexico. So I'm sure as a female president, she's going to try and rebalance things, recalibrate things. She's not going to be able to get rid of the cartels overnight. They are very entrenched, they're very powerful, and they're also very dangerous. Yeah, so she's going to have to literally balance it out. Yeah, she's going to have to walk the tightrope, kind of going after them in order to fulfill whatever her manifestos may be, but she can't do it too much either, otherwise starts getting dangerous. And that's not even a joke in Mexico. Remember, many candidates were assassinated and all of this kind of stuff. We look here, though, she's got some issues. She may not like the options that are on the table, yeah, but there's one floating here, so she's going to have to think outside of the box. But some of the choices that she has to make, she may not like. She might have to do a few deals with some unsavory characters, yeah. But politics, as we know, is a messy game, but I'm sure she's going to want to do the best for the country overall. And if we look here, the outcome card here is the Six of Swords. I don't think it means that she's leaving. I think it means that she wants to take Mexico to smoother waters. So I think this is her showing her intentions, what she has for the country, and hopefully what she will be able to achieve. So overall, actually, I would say the cards there are quite positive, but she's got one or two surprises up her sleeve. She's new. Not everyone knows her yet, but here she is as the Queen of Cups. But the Temperance card in the middle, that for me says the most. So she's really going to try and do positive things for Mexico, and I wish her every success in that. Mexico is a beautiful country, and it deserves to continue to gain and grow in prosperity. All right, let's do a last little read on Duck L'Orange, and then I'm going to call it a day. So I've talked about Farage, talked about the Tories, talked about India, talked about Mexico, talked about the GOP. What's next for Duck L'Orange? Crispy Duck L'Orange, now a convicted felon. Let's see. Let's see. You know what? Let me think. What am I going to ask? Let's see what impact his guilty verdict will have on his chances on the White House. Yeah, let's have a look at that. I think that's more pertinent. We don't know what the sentencing is yet, but we know it's going to happen. So there's not that much point speculating too much on that. Like I said, I'll be surprised if he gets put in jail. I think community service will be better. He deserves jail, but politically, it would be better to see him pulling up weeds and collecting poop and taking out the trash, rather than him being a prisoner, political prisoner somewhere, lamenting from the window, unless they're going to put him in Alcatraz. And you know what happened? If he gets house arrest, you know what the media is going to do. They're going to camp outside Mar-a-Lago. They're going to get their boom mics over the fence, and he's going to stand there in his golfing gear making his proclamations. So I'm thinking fine and community service, although it's not necessarily what he deserves, I think overall it would be more impactful. Whereas if he gets locked up, then he's going to say he's a political prisoner, and you see that could rally people to him. But that's just my opinion. Let's see what the cards have to say. How has this potentially impacted Trump's chances of the White House? Let's just ask that. Let's ask that. Let's go there. Let's go there. How will this potentially impact his guilty verdict? Will it impact him? I think it's going to affect independents more than anything, really, isn't it? I think people know the rusted on are going to vote for him anyway, and the Dems never will. So let's see here. Let's see what the energy is here. If it's helping him or hindering him or neutral. Oh, this is very interesting. This is very interesting. All right. 643 of you here now. Thank you so much. And of course, please don't forget to like and subscribe and share. all of that stuff. Thank you so much as well for all of this support over the years. Big love. It's much appreciated. And if you're not able to buy a book or donate, watch an advert. Yeah. But count to 11. Thank you. And that really, and it really does help the channel, by the way. I know I'm making a joke of it, but it really does help the channel. So thank you. All right. I asked, how will this guilty verdict impact on his chances vis-a-vis election, etc., and stuff like that? And the cards have come up with some interesting things. If we look here, the first card he gets up here is the 9 of Cups, which is normally what? The card of satisfaction, yeah? Winning something, or the smug merchant, yeah? The smug merchant. So what I would say here, the judge has to be very careful, yeah? The judge has to be very careful not to inadvertently give Duck Larange what he wants, yeah? Because look, this is about wish fulfillment. Obviously, he's not wishing to go to jail. I mean, he's not that crazy. No way, you know, he says, oh, I don't mind. Look, no one wants to go to jail, yeah? But if he does, he might make hay out of it, yeah? So bear that in mind. Remember, I just say what I see. But if you look in the obstacle position for Duck Larange, oh dear, look, it's the 4 of Swords. This is a lot more tricky energy. This is a lot more tricky energy. Now, if we look here, the positive iteration of this card is reflecting meditation, maybe being wounded in battle or taking a step back and relaxing. Obviously, Duck Larange is not going to do that, but this is technically in the obstacle position. This card actually becomes a lot more challenging when it's reversed. Look, I don't predict death, of course, as you know, whatever on this channel. But look, this could be a serious health situation, which I have predicted. You remember in my, I think it was last Monday or whatever. Remember, I looked in depth at Donald Trump's chart and I said the health stuff. And I, yeah, that Venus, when her energy starts to manifest in September, remember she sits in the 12th house of hospitals, prisons, seclusion, isolation. Yeah, this is also a card of isolation and stuff like that, but it's reversed. Yeah, so this could be yeah, a serious setback, wounded in battle in some kind. So that's actually a bit ominous for Duck Larange. So he might be satisfied. There might be like, he might get a bump in the polls, for example. He might be able to raise, you know, his gift, his grift, as you've heard me say. But in his obstacle position, there might be something that takes him out or takes him aback, particularly when you look in the context of the next card. Look here in the middle, which is what all the other cards are hanging off. We have the 8 of Cups, which is walking away, leaving. What this says to me is, I think, obviously, it's not the GOP. I mean, I'd be astonished if they find a moral backbone by now. I think this is independence. Yeah, independence and undecideds are more than likely probably deciding to maybe walk away from Trump at this stage. Because think about it. Irrespective of what a person may or think or whether they support him or not or what have you, he is now a convicted felon. Yeah, and it was unanimous. It was unanimous. No one's denying that that he slept with Stormy Daniels and blah blah blah. I mean, in many ways, that's not the point. The point is that he paid hush money, which may have affected how people voted. So it's actually, even though on one level it seems like one of the most frivolous ones, on another level it was probably one of the most consequential, because if people knew that about Duck Larange at that sensitive time, that could have changed history. Yeah, particularly as well, remember Hillary won the popular vote as well, let's not forget, and she only lost in by small margins. He only won by small margins, so really that would have made the difference. On one level it may seem like one of the more frivolous cases, but on another level it's very impactful. So but I think this is the undecideds, yeah, potentially walking away. I doubt it's the GOP walking away unless Liz Cheney can work a miracle and somehow get people to rally around her and create a new party. Yeah, that's the only way that I could see it being the GOP walking away. However, look at the next two cards. There are still people that are prepared to take a leap of faith on Duck Larange. Still, yeah, even now. It's just astonishing. It's just astonishing. But look, as you can see here, but remember as well, this card can literally mean the Fool as well. It depends how one interprets it. I think it's a combination of these things. I think this is the foolishness of the GOP and the way that they have literally been prepared to walk off the cliff with Duck L'Orange. Look, here's the dog here trying to warn. On one level, one could say maybe the dog, you know, is the companion and, you know, is in for the ride, of course. But this could also be the dog trying to warn the fool. Look, be careful of your step. I think with the GOP, it's too late. They've jumped off the cliff with him. Yeah, it's very, very clear. And look, again, we have the Ace of Cups card, which again talks about emotions, etc. But this is a card as well that is often associated with happiness as well and stuff like that. So this is a complex picture. It's a complex picture. Reflecting on it, let's read it backwards. The emotions are extremely high, yeah, around Duck L'Orange. Whichever way people are going to vote, the emotions are overflowing. The GOP are still prepared to leap off the cliff with him, and there's still voters out there that are prepared to take the plunge. Yeah, I just have to say what I see. It's a political reading. There are some people who still are not looking. You see, their eyes are up in the sky. They're like, oh, no, he's the savior. Yeah. However, the independents and others may be walking away as well. So it's uneven. He'll gain some votes somewhere because people like the swagger and all of the defiance. Because, you know, especially in America, you guys love a rebel, don't you? It makes me think of Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid, you know, the one who sticks the fingers up. Yeah, there are a lot of people that like that, but I think more are going to walk away than walk towards. He might get some kind of severe wound or health crisis or something like that potentially could be in there, which ultimately could affect his wish fulfillment, yeah, his dreams, what he wants to do. He obviously wants to get back into the White House. So I would say it's a complicated picture for Duck L'Orange. 6 of one, 4 of the other. If he goes to prison, there will be people that will motivate a lot of people to kind of vote for him. I think if he does community service, a lot of people are going to be like, you're washed up, yeah. But really, I think this is about the independents. And the only way that the GOP would ever leave him is if it splits into something completely, well, maybe not completely different, but if it splits. So I'll leave that there. We'll see what happens with the sentencing and stuff like that. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. It was like, so at one point, it was 667 of you or something like that. So thank you so much for joining me. I really hope you enjoyed that little impromptu. I will leave it there. You will see me on Wednesday. Remember, I'm doing collab with Tea with Tanya. So it'd be nice to have her on my channel and see what's been going on with her as we chew the cud. Keep an eye on the British politics, yeah? Particularly if you want a distraction from your own. It just got a lot more interesting, folks. A lot more interesting. And but I will leave it there for now. Thanks so much for all the support. Of course, Santa Fe, if you still want to come, there's still opportunities. And if you want the book, it is linked in the video description below. Mwah! Big love and bye-bye for now. And I'll see you on Wednesday. Cheers.